The Tempest. A violent storm was raging over the island. Palm trees bent and swayed like dancers in the howling gale that tore off their branches and sent them tumbling through the air. On the beach, not far from the mouth of his cave, stood Prospero the wizard, his white hair and beard streaming out in the wind, his black robes flapping around him. As he raised his left hand, a thunder rumbled. He lifted the staff in his right hand, and forked lightning crackled, flickering like snakes' tongues across the inky clouds. Out to sea, a ship with broken masts and tattered sails wallowed helplessly as the storm drove it towards a jagged coral reef. A lovely young woman in a white gown hurried out of the cave and ran towards Prospero, her dark hair whipping about her face. She caught the wizard by the sleeve and called out, "Father!" Prospero seemed not to hear her. His eyes burned silver with magic, and they stayed firmly fixed on the ship. "Father!" shouted the young woman. "What are you doing? Everyone aboard that ship will be killed." Above the sound of the wind came a groaning crash of timber striking rock. A huge wave reared up like a startled horse and thundered down on the ship, making it vanish from sight. Prospero lowered his hands. The wind dropped to a gentle breeze. The boiling clouds faded into a blue sky, and the sun glinted on a calm sea. "No one has been harmed, Miranda," said Prospero. "Everything is as I planned. For your sake, I have used my magic to help right a great wrong done long ago." "What wrong, Father?" Miranda asked with a puzzled frown. "Enough," said Prospero. He moved his left hand in front of Miranda's face, and she fell into an enchanted sleep where she stood. Prospero took 2 paces towards the sea, looking out at the place where the ship had sunk. "Soon, my brother," he whispered. A sound made him turn his head in time to see a strange creature creeping up behind Miranda. It was shaped like a man, but his skin was covered with glistening green scales, and his eyes were as yellow as a lizard's. "Caliban," Prospero said sternly, "you brought no wood or water to the cave this morning. Must I send the spirits to torment you again?" Caliban scowled. "I was not born to be your servant," he answered defiantly. "My mother, the great witch Sycorax, promised me that I would rule this island, and so I would have, if you had not come here and stolen her books of magic and freed her slave spirits to help you drive her away." "Silence!" said Prospero, and he snapped his fingers. Needles of fire seemed to lance through Caliban, forcing him to his knees. "Mercy, master, mercy!" he cried, bowing his head. The pain left him, and he hid his face so that Prospero could not see his cunning smile. "Why are you so cruel?" he whimpered. "You were kind to me once." "And you repaid my kindness by trying to kidnap my daughter," snapped Prospero. "Get to work, you treacherous wretch!" Caliban stood and shambled off. I will be revenged one day," he muttered to himself. "I will be king of this island, and I will take Miranda as my queen." When Caliban was safely out of sight, Prospero lifted his staff. Ariel, he called softly. Appear to me now, sweet spirit. There was a faint sound of music. Lights sparkled in the air, winking like sunshine on bursting bubbles. In the midst of the lights fluttered a young boy with golden skin and white wings on his knees. He smiled at Prospero and darted playfully around his head. And Prospero laughed. Faithful Ariel, he said. Are the sailors scattered over the island as I commanded? They are, good master, said Ariel, his voice like gentle humming of a harp. And where is Ferdinand, the king of Naples' son? Prospero demanded. Close by, said Ariel. He mourns his father, believing him to be drowned. He is not drowned, said Prospero. He wanders the island lost with my brother Antonio. Prospero sighed, and old memories gave his face a far-off look. 12 years ago, when I was Duke of Milan, my wife died, he said sadly. Grief blinded me to the treachery of Antonio, who plotted its secret with my old enemy King Alonso of Naples. They overthrew me, and Antonio took my place. I was put in an open boat with my daughter and cast adrift to die. But destiny took me to this island, to Sycorax's magic boat, and you. My spells brought the ship here, and now it is time for mischief and magic. And revenge, master? Said Ariel. Prospero shook his head. I do not seek revenge, only justice, he said. Go to Prince Ferdinand and bring him here. Ariel's eyes darkened into doubt. Will it be as thou promised, master? When thy plan is done, shall I be free? Free as the wind, my Ariel, said Prospero. I will break my spells, and no magic will ever hold you again. Ariel glowed brightly and flew off faster than Prospero's eyes could follow. Prince Ferdinand was seated cross-legged on the sand. Salt water and the sun had bleached his brown hair almost blonde, and his handsome face was lined with sadness. Whenever he closed his eyes, he saw the massive waves that had swallowed the ship and cast him up on this uncharted island. He might never be found, and he wondered if it would be better to swim out to sea and join his drowned father than face a life of miserable loneliness. His thoughts were suddenly interrupted by lights dancing in front of his face, swarming like bees. They were so fascinating that Ferdinand could do nothing but stare at them. Then he heard music and the singing of a sweet, high voice. Forget thy father, deep he lies, with shining pearls set in his eyes. Come with me now, Prince Ferdinand, and walk along the yellow sand. Ferdinand seemed to be caught up in a dream. Without a word he stood and followed where the lights led him.